So let me get this straight, Fundy. Your God, who always existed and is three people in one person, created the universe from nothing 6 to 10,000 years ago in 6 literal days, Earth days, I'm assuming, even though the Earth wasn't created yet. Then God made water and plants before he made the sun, moon, and stars, against all scientific evidence that says the Earth is actually billions of years old and formed from the accretion disk of the sun like all the other planets. Then God made man in his image, and I'm assuming you don't mean literal here, since God gave us wisdom teeth, plica semilunarses, tailbones, and an appendix. God was kind of a crappy designer, isn't he? Exactly why are there hip bones in whales? And why is the occasional human born with a tail? Answer me that, Fundy. So next, 2 people eat a piece of fruit they weren't supposed to eat because a talking snake that you insist is Satan told them to. Yeah, dudes, that snake was not me. So God, in his infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent wisdom, who's also free from contradiction and exists outside of space and time, regretted that he made humans, who up to this point all lived 900 plus years old. Oh, and I should also mention that there's no water cycle, so no rain yet, and that's totally believable. One day, God decided to drown the entire world except for 8 people and 2 pair and 7 pair of animals, despite all scientific evidence to the contrary on every aspect of the global flood hypothesis. We'll just start with the fact that there's not enough genetic diversity to reproduce entire species with just 2 pair and 7 pair of animals. What are the carnivores gonna eat anyway? How is the human race gonna repopulate with just 8 people and have enough genetic diversity? And who's shoveling out all the animal poop out this one door? That's a lot of shoveling for 8 people for a year. God, who created the entire universe from nothing, goes on to make a pact with a single tribe of people in a really tiny section of land and a tiny blue dot in an immense space, and he cares about the skin on the tip of their penis, the skin that he put there in the first place, and he cares about who they sleep with and have sex with, and which other tribes of people that they slaughter and virgins they can capture and force to marry them, and whether or not they can eat shellfish and bacon and all kinds of rules about slavery, which I know is totally different. God proceeds to lead them around the desert for 40 years after a series of miracles that culminate in God killing a bunch of innocent kids to essentially back his own PR campaign. Sometime later in this book, a donkey sees an invisible angel and the donkey talks. You remember that story, right? But invisible pink unicorns are stupid, right? Then, God does things like stop the sun in the sky so one of his dudes can win a battle or something, even though some other army defeats God's army later because they had iron chariots. So stopping the earth from rotating is totally within God's power, but iron chariots? That's hard. Oh, but I'm sure God just meant to do that. He meant to have his chosen people lose a battle to iron chariots. Stupid, stupid atheist. So let's just fast forward to God sending the son aspect of himself to sacrifice himself to the father aspect of himself to circumvent a rule that he created in the first place that involved a talking snake and a piece of fruit that the first 2 people weren't supposed to eat in a magical garden where the woman was actually made of a rib. Did God make the first 2 people with belly buttons or not? Answer me that, Fundy. So anyway, because the 2 people ate a piece of magical fruit that gave them enough knowledge to realize that they were naked, we all have to pay the price of sin for God's very first bad system design. Unless he designed a system to intentionally fail, which seems really, really stupid. So the son aspect of God was sacrificed and came back to life as a Jewish zombie, and then one day flew into heaven, and all of a sudden all the apostles got what amounts to aphasia, babbled to each other, and all of a sudden now we can eat shellfish and bacon. And they had a bunch of other wacky adventures in the Bible. All culminates with a whore, 7 hills, a dragon chasing a pregnant woman, angels breaking a bunch of seals, and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which reads like some really bad acid trip. And you're trying to tell me that all this actually happened and your Bible's really a history book and all the scientists who study astronomy, geology, cosmology, evolution, they all got it wrong. And you're going to put your backing behind politicians who want your stupid creationism pseudoscience taught in school, insist the Earth is 6,000 years old, even though every serious geologist, Christian or atheist or otherwise, would immediately tell you that flood geology was actually real and the Earth was 6,000 years old, we would never find any oil. Drill, baby, drill indeed. If the Earth was only 6,000 years old, we wouldn't see a fraction of the stars in our sky because it takes hundreds of thousands of years and much longer for their light to even reach us. When we look up at the night sky, we're standing on a rocky time machine, and a lot of those stars that we see today likely don't even exist anymore. It takes their light so long to reach us. Then you're going to tell us that God, who's omnipresent and omnipotent but is beyond the laws of space and time, can't and does not lie. And some of you guys ask us stupid questions like, is it too hard to imagine that God created the universe to look old, with light from some stars already on its way to reach us, with trees already having tree rings, with ice layers in the Arctic and the Antarctic that already reached down hundreds of thousands of years or more, and yet you object to a flying spaghetti monster who intentionally created the universe to appear old, and you say flying spaghetti monster is a liar, his worldview is false, and we can't trust anything he says. You stupid atheist. Evolution and Christianity and the Bible are completely irreconcilable. Evolution is lies from the pit of hell. Slavery in the Bible is totally different. You're taking it out of context, and a unicorn being both invisible and pink is stupid. Even your uber-atheist prophet Richard Dawkins fails to see that Russell... Dear fat peoples, Nicole Arbor is icky and gross. She says she has semen in her hair in this video. Gross! Do not listen to her. Being a fat peoples is totally okay with Lord Yahweh. Just think, fat peoples, the more cheeseburgers you eat now, the faster you'll get to meet Jesus. Jump cut. Looney Tunes, stop. You're just making it worse. Dear minions, fat shaming, not okay. It's totally not funny or cool to call somebody a fat people. Right, John Smith? John Smith, are you still sitting at your desk making videos? Why don't you get out and walk around the block, fat ass? What'd you buy that Fitbit for anyway? Aren't you supposed to be getting in your 10,000 steps? Sorry, folks. I get to call him a fat ass. As for you, Nicole Arbor, talk about needing to make better choices. I can tell you firsthand that there is a special place in hell for unfunny, fat-shaming YouTube personalities who promote unrealistic body types.
For the record, ladies, Barbie dolls are unrealistic body types.
Whoa, hey Gabriella. Long time no see. Nice shells.
Shut up, Satan.